Hey family, this is Dave Jones Woke coming to you with a new broadcast from the New Reality Network. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel to receive notifications when I post new videos. On today's broadcast, we will be discussing the 4 isms that are enslaving humanity. I will start off this broadcast by describing to you what the 4 isms are and explain why I believe they are enslaving humanity. When I say the 4 isms, I'm speaking about the 4 poisons which I believe are enslaving the human species on the planet Earth. The 4 isms that I speak of are 1. Racism, 2. Sexism, 3. Classism, and 4. Creedism. I'm going to provide you with a brief definition of each of the 4 isms, but I'm going to center my broadcast around the main ism that I believe is enslaving humanity, and that is the ism of racism. So the first and main ism is racism. A brief definition of racism is when prejudice is combined with political power and used to discriminate against or oppress an individual or a group of people who are politically powerless. The other 3 isms, such as sexism, classism, and creedism, fall under a similar definition, except the discrimination is based upon a person's sex, class status, or their creed or religious beliefs. The reason why I'm centering my broadcast around the ism of racism is because I believe that racism has done more damage and has had more of a destructive impact upon humanity than all of the other isms combined. That being said, it is important that we heal humanity of all 4 of these poisonous isms if we are to move humanity forward on the path of spiritual evolution and free humanity from the enslavement that the dark rulers of this world are presently keeping humanity in. Those dark rulers that I speak of is a group of individuals or a group of families that are presently controlling and enslaving the human species on the planet Earth. In my last video, I titled The New Reality, I spoke about these dark rulers whom I refer to as the Globalists. These are the 12 richest families on the planet Earth. They presently control 95% of the governments and countries on the planet Earth. Their goal is to create a one-world government, a global government which will control the entire planet Earth, which these 12 wealthy families will be the leaders of and control. Their plan is to destroy the last few traces of freedom that humanity still has left on the planet and make the planet Earth into a prison planet where the entire human species will be forced into open slavery, where human beings will have no rights and are made to do force-free labor in order to build and maintain the worldwide kingdom of these 12 families. These 12 families are devil worshippers, and they plan to establish their devil-worshipping religion as the sole religion upon the planet Earth. This is the dark future that these globalists have planned for humanity. The way that these devil-worshipping globalists have been able to enslave humanity up to this point is by using the 4 isms of racism, sexism, classism, and creedism. By keeping humanity divided based upon these 4 isms, this is how they plan to do that. No house divided can stand. So as long as humanity continues to fight against each other based upon those differences, the globalists continue to rule over humanity and march humanity ever forward into that dark, satanic future that they have planned for the world. Once we destroy the ism of racism, I believe that the other 3 isms of sexism, classism, and creedism will fall like dominoes, because they are all based upon a caste system which racism is the foundation of, particularly anti-black racism. If you destroy the foundation, the house will crumble. So let's delve deeper into the meaning of racism in order to heal humanity of the poisonous ism called racism. The definition of racism is when a group of people who hold political, economic, and social power over another group of people uses that power to discriminate against, mistreat, and oppress those people on the basis of race. More specifically, Webster's dictionary defines racism as the systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. The globalists implement and promote these four isms because of the division that they cause, which makes it easier for them to control and oppress and enslave the masses. By conditioning the masses to accept and support the oppression of one specific group of people, that being black people, mainly first and foremost, the government is conditioning the masses of people to accept their own enslavement and oppression. Martin Luther King said that an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Because white people are given white privilege, which I call temporary privilege, and treated with favoritism in every white country on the planet, especially here in America, white people think that they will always be exempt from the government's tyranny and brutality. What most white people don't realize is that they, white people, think that the government is giving them white privilege because they are actually superior to black people. But the truth is that the only reason that the government is giving white people white privilege is because the elected government has been ordered by the shadow government, who is the true unelected government, who controls all of the politicians who the people think that they are elected into office to represent them. The shadow government is ordering the elected puppet government to uphold the system of white supremacy in order to condition the masses of people to accept living under government tyranny. By conditioning the masses of people to accept black people being mistreated and oppressed, the government is conditioning the masses of people, specifically white people, to accept their own oppression and mistreatment. It's called the totalitarian tiptoe. If you do research on the totalitarian tiptoe method, you will find that the totalitarian tiptoe is a political method that tyrannical governments use to slowly condition their citizens to accept being oppressed and enslaved, and to live under a totalitarian dictatorship government. These governments know that the masses of people would not accept outright open oppression and tyranny being committed against them by their government. So what totalitarian governments do is they take one small right away from the people at a time. Then they take another larger right away from the people. Then they take another right and another right away until one day the people look up and find that the government has taken all of their rights and that there are now enslaved people living under totalitarian dictatorship. That they are living under open government tyranny in which the people have no rights and the government has absolute power and control over the people's lives. All of the dictators throughout history has used this same strategy called the totalitarian tiptoe in order to enslave their citizens. From Adolf Hitler to Stalin to Mao Zedong to Mussolini in Italy. All of these dictators started out mistreating and oppressing a small portion of the population, usually groups who were a minority in the country, racially and population-wise. And by treating the masses who were not a part of that minority group better than they treated that minority group, and by giving the masses privileges that they didn't give that minority group, they were conditioning the masses to give the government a green light to oppress and take away the rights of that minority group. And by doing so, the masses of citizens were giving the government the green light to mistreat them and take away their rights as well. If you study Hitler, you will see that he started out by mistreating the Jews first, who were a minority population in Germany at the time, and the masses of German people allowed and supported the mistreatment of the Jews. Then, once Hitler had conditioned the German people to accept the governmental oppression of the Jews, Hitler flipped the script on the German people and ordered his troops to burn down the Reichstag governmental building, which was the German equivalent of the U.S. Capitol building. Then Hitler blamed the Jews for the burning down of the Reichstag governmental building, and he used that as an excuse to suspend the German Constitution and assume full control and power over the German people and take away all of the rights of the German people. He assumed full power as a dictator in Germany, and because by that time the German people had become conditioned to allowing the German government to violate the rights of the Jewish people, it was easy for the German people to allow Hitler and the German government to take away their rights as well by suspending the Constitution under the guise of national security. Hitler made the German people think that they had privileges and rights over the Jews, only so that he could turn around and take away their rights and privileges once he established full dictatorial power in Germany. This is the same plan that the Globalists, whom I also refer to as the shadow government, has for the American people. The Globalists ordered the U.S. government to order the U.S. police to oppress and violate the rights of black people, while the masses of the American people, especially white people, supports the police and the government in their violation of black people's rights. In supporting this unjust oppression of black people by the police and the U.S. government, the masses of American people are allowing the government themselves to be programmed to accept the violation of their own rights by the American government and the police. And just as the U.S. government used the attacks of September 11th, 2001 to take away the American people's rights by passing the Patriot Act, which allows the government to spy on you and break into your home and search your private property without a warrant, and just as the U.S. government passed the NDAA law in 2011, which allows the U.S. government to snatch up American citizens off the streets and take American citizens hostage and imprison them indefinitely without charging them with a crime and without giving any explanation for why they are being detained. Under the guise of national security, the American people's constitutional rights are being taken away more and more every day, because the U.S. government has already conditioned the masses of American people to accept the government's violation of black people's rights. The American people is allowing the government to take away their constitutional rights without a fight. The globalists implement and promote these four isms because they keep the masses of the people divided and waging war against each other, which makes it easier for the globalists to oppress and enslave and control the masses of the people on the planet Earth. Simple prejudice or dislike of one person or group of people by another, while undesirable is not as significant as racism, because prejudice by definition is not backed up by the government. Prejudice becomes racism once it is supported by the government. That is the key difference between prejudice and racism. Racism, particularly anti-black racism, is supported by the government in America and by governments around the world. The globalists support and promote this particular ism called racism because it maintains the division among the masses, and it conditions the privileged majority to accept government overreach and the violation of its citizens' rights. The government globalist, most governments are controlled by the globalist. They incentivize racism by providing benefits to those who support and participate in the racist system, which they have created by giving them what I call temporary privilege, also known as white privilege. White privilege is just temporary privilege because once the government has fully established their totalitarian dictatorship government, their plan is to take away all of the privileges and rights from white people and enslave them along with the masses of their citizens. The globalists are made up of the 12 richest families in the world, and they have no loyalty to anyone except the small group of people who are a part of their inner circle. They see everyone else as disposable human resources, aka slaves, that they are using to build their worldwide kingdom on this planet. Once they have established their main goal of creating a one-world government which will control every person and every country and every government on Earth, they will create a planetary system of open slavery in which every human being on the planet will be forced to submit to their global authority and live out their lives, their entire lives as slaves, working to maintain their wicked worldwide satanic kingdom. Simply put, their goal is to establish a totalitarian dictatorship throughout the entire planet Earth. In order to defeat the globalists and prevent them from establishing their satanic one-world government, humanity must reject all of the four isms of racism, sexism, classism, and creedism, which has been used by the globalists to keep humanity divided, while they, the globalists, are working to enslave the entire human species on the planet Earth. Humanity must unite and work together to defeat the globalists and their satanic one-world government plan. If humanity can unite and learn to reject the four isms of racism, sexism, classism, and creedism, we can defeat the globalists and their wicked one-world government agenda. Then humanity will be able to create a new reality on the planet Earth, based upon the divine laws of God. A new reality in which the rights of all human beings are respected and all human beings are provided with the basic necessities of life, such as food, water, shelter, clothing, and quality health care from birth without having to pay for it. God says that He placed an abundance of resources upon the planet Earth for all human beings to be provided with the basic necessities of survival from birth. Once humanity heals itself of the four poisonous isms of racism, sexism, classism, and creedism, humanity will be able to establish a new reality in which the kingdom of heaven will be established upon the planet Earth. With that being said, I'm going to bring this broadcast to a close. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel to receive notifications when I post new videos. If you would like to support my channel, my Cash App and Venmo is in the description tab in the About section of my channel. Thank you all for your support, family. I look forward to speaking to you in my next broadcast. This is Dave Jones Woke. Peace, family.